Okay, so we have this video to be a deathbed confessional by the son of Cyrus Eugene Akers. This man, whom I will identify shortly, will show a proof of connection to Cyrus Akers. Go ahead and play that segment here.
I lifted the lid off my dad's case, and you can see that his name is Cyrus Eugene Akers. He was born on July 17th, 1933. He died on September 28th, 2002. Here's his badge, and I wanted to see if I could get as close as possible so that you can read the numbers on the bottom.
The numbers say D7,
which are...
Okay, it's on this website, Find a Grave, and here it lists a Cyrus E. Akers who was born on that respective date that you had seen and died on the date at age 69. It shows where he was buried. It identifies that he was an SSGT, which is a staff sergeant for the U.S. Air Force. I presume this poster, RC, put up this picture that has the watermark for Sibrel's website. It says photo added by RC. The bio for this person, RC Cato, preserving history in its making. Self-described TAFO file. Won't read all of this for you, but you go to his website and read more. Of course, when I see the letters RC, I immediately begin to think of RC Christian, the founder of the Georgia Guides. I think I'll go ahead and leave a flower to show some respect. From this, you find out that the son's name is Eugene Akers, and he had apparently passed away recently, 13th of February, at the age of 66 in Brooksville, Florida. The father passed away in a different county in Sumter County, Florida. RC also added this photo, as well as added this flower. Suppose I'll do the same. Go ahead and leave a petal or a St. John's wort. Go ahead and go with the St. John's wort. Okay, and so go ahead and play you from the important part of this video.
Some FBI, CIA, NSA, who knows, something like that. Okay, President Johnson only showed up for the first day of filming. Filming lasted for 3 days, and the entire project was restored to original. In other words, the hangars were all taken apart, the sand was all removed, and so on and so forth. Dad said there was a lot of building going on at the base, so at the time, so sand and cement powder was never questioned. I can see how they could smuggle that all in within everything else that's going on. Since 2002, I have dug up, I already told you about that, the evidence for the moon landing that I have found. If you go to Google and go to Cannon Air Force Base website, they admit that President Johnson was there. The lunar lander was there. The astronauts were there. I also have verified some of the people on the list were there.
And this is the problem that we have. So here's the location of Cannon Air Force Base in New Mexico. Get a sense of how far away it is from Albuquerque, as well as how far away it is from Amarillo, Texas, Lubbock, Texas. And here you get more relationships. Here's how the Air Force Base looks on Google Earth. So we were to presume that all of the moon landing somehow occurred in this plot of land. Zooming out, you get this type of topography. Maybe it took place somewhere out here. So an issue that I have is none of the information that you heard claimed NASA or President Johnson or the other important contextual setup information can be found on the actual website for Cannon Air Force. You would go to the About section, get a history about how it's the home of the 27th Special Operations Wing and how the Clovis Army Airfield closed its doors after World War II, but still was used for Air Training Command until 1951, where it quote Tactical Air Command obtained it. You learn how it's named in honor of the late General John K. Cannon, who's a former commander of Tactical Air Command, a name acquired in the year 1957. But it appears all relevant history ends at around 1959. You only find that October 1st, 2007, there was a redesignation to the 27th Special Operations Wing. And so yes, I know there's a potential motivation to cover up any inconvenient history. And so to try to recapture that history, you have to use the Wayback Machine. The earliest page I can find is from the year 2018, which caused me to wonder, is the website merely 5 years old? Or did this website exist in the late 2000s or early 2000s? We won't know because the web crawler has no entries for these dates. I went to the earliest date available for 2018, and that available date is October the 12th. The page at that time also does not show special information concerning a role of the base interacting with NASA or President Johnson's visit. Now, one thing I noticed is you can scroll down here, see what's available. This is the 2022 update page. When you go to the older page, there's this letter that I'm not really able to access the fact sheet looks like. I'll try to save the image, but just clicking on it doesn't open anything up. Here's the fact sheet image blown up. I tried to enhance the image using photo sharpening software, but it doesn't seem to be helping. Nope, I was able to find an updated fact sheet. It doesn't really have anything pertinent to our topic of discussion, however. Okay, so here's some of the named individuals, which will be a potential topic for future research.
And I come across a couple myself. Anyway, President Johnson, Neil Armstrong, Edwin Alden, Werner von Braun, Robert Emenegger, Gene Kranz, James Webb, Joe Kerwin, Dr. Thomas Paine, Glenn Looney, Dr. Christopher Kraft, Dr. James Van Allen, General Trudeau, Lieutenant Colonel Donald Simon, and Grant Norrie. Now, the only two that I really have information on is Robert Emenegger. Apparently, he did a lot of video work and stuff for the Department of Defense.
I think this might be that guy. This interview is UFOs Past, Present, and Future, follow-up 2008. Play a segment from that.
My name is Bob Emenegger, and several years ago, when I was Vice President, Creative Director of Gray Advertising, which is a very large agency, I took time out to go on a project with this Department of Defense to bolster the image, which was sagging in the early 70s. So we were exposed to all kinds of projects, like we thought about maybe pulling up the Merrimack with the Navy, or 9-to computer, which they were doing and all, but they took us into a clean room, security, and said, but what would you think if we told you we had a landing at Holland Air Base of an alien craft? And when I thought, my wife used to talk about alien.
You think this is a distraction? Let's focus on the aliens as the topic of this early 70s, rather than the shenanigans occurring with the Apollo missions. If this is the same man, then I guess he would be a focus of inquiry for investigators who seek to finally unravel the moon mystery and determine if we had been lied. If I choose to go down this investigative path, you may see a part 2 and 3 of this topic. Till next time, peace.